Citations, everyone. I have got a lovely little video with you, joined by my good friend Boximus from that Box and Jacquilope channel. They do all sorts of WoW content on there, and other stuff too, but you know, mostly here for the WoW content, obviously. But, yeah, so I'm joined by my good friend Boximus, and we are going to be talking about the Orc and Human Heritage armor. I don't really have a lot to say about the human stuff. So we recently got told by Blizzard that they are doing the Orc and Human Heritage armor sometime this year. I believe sometime in the spring. And I already did a video on this talking about what the armor could be and all that jazz. And this is kind of like a sequel video, I guess, basically. Except this time joined by my good friend Box. And
The sequel or the squeakquel?
I hope not. Those movies are terrible. The orc heritage armor, in terms of like what I want, in terms of like what I want it to look like, and I guess I'll show some visual aid for y'all when it comes to that part in the video. But I mostly just want something that isn't a grunt set, something that resembles something more like Durotan or Rexxar's armor, maybe a little bit of flair of like something kind of like Gromash's armor, or like a combination of Grom and Durotan's armor. I've done some artwork for this on Ban a while ago on Twitter, but I can show a lot of that here. But like, they could also do, like, again, like I did a video on this a couple years ago, basically, and it basically detailed like, oh, they could do Kor'kron armor styled after the Doomhammer, or the Doomplate rather. They could do Frostwolf armor. They could do a Shaman Seer, like a Frostwolf Seer, basically, from Warcraft 3. I just don't want them to do a grunt set. That's all I'm asking for here. If they do a grunt set, I will be pissed. There will be a rant video coming if that happens. I will be like, I can't believe they've done this.
So Ben, I gotta ask you something about the heritage armor. So because we are going to get some sort of quest chain, which characters do you hope we see, and do you hope that any of the Mag'har orcs are a part of it, like Gayara or AU Gromosh? I don't know how that would be possible, but I'm just curious what you like, because obviously characters I'd like to see, you know, obviously Thrall. Eitrigg would be a pretty decent character, but other orcs, like, I can't quite think what other orcs would be a part of it. Maybe Saurfang, like his something involving the armor he used to wear in BFA, that would be kind of cool. But I'm curious with like a wolf pelt, like you're saying, but I'll let you kind of go on that.
Yeah, I thought about Saurfang's armor, but it's more of a warrior tier. It's cool looking, and I'd be okay with it if they did it, but I mean, I'd be more okay with that than a grunt set, to be fair with you. In terms of like characters, this is so. I guess I'll have to start out by saying what I want the premise to be, and like someone on, I believe, I think it's like Port. I've always referred to them as Port on Twitter. I know that there's more to their name. Portuguese. I sorry if I'm butchering your name, Port. But Port had a wonderful idea where the Kosh'harg Festival, which if you didn't know, is basically a meeting where all of the Orc clans meet up and they celebrate and they get to know each other. It's kind of how Durotan and, Durotan and Ogrim got to know each other, and became best friends over that. And I'd love for them to move that to Azeroth, and basically it's all of the clans, all of their leaders, all of their members kind of joining up. It's a festival. And maybe it takes place in Drek'thar. Probably would be Drek'thar, I think, would be a good place for it, to be fair with you. Like, maybe in the starting zone, in that area, and like all of the clans and their leaders are there. You've got Rexxar, representing the Mok'Nathal, maybe, or Leorox is there. They'd have to give Leorox a new model if they did that, which is why I probably don't think they'd have Leorox show up. But you'd have, basically, very key characters like Rexxar, like Thrall, maybe Nazgul, Drek'thar, a very aging Drek'thar, Agra, Thrall's kids of Rez and Drek, Eitrigg representing the Blackrocks, as well as his son Ariok, who we have not seen since Warlords of Draenor.
I would love to see Ariok again. To be honest, he was awesome.
Oh yeah, I think Ariok was really cool, and I'd love to kind of have him kind of like have this ability to kind of be like the Hulk, where he could like go into Berserker mode anytime he wants. He's not afflicted by that form. He could just turn that off, basically, is what I would do.
So you know what would also be cool, Ben? Just not to interrupt you right there, but I thought about something. I think this would be a great quest chain to introduce some younger orc leaders, because I think we really need some new characters. Like one thing, and forgive me for bringing up Garrosh, but something that was interesting about Garrosh was, at the time, it was almost like a new generation of orcs. Obviously, that didn't turn out good, but it would be cool to see some different characters, kind of like you were saying, leading those different clans, or characters that might be getting too old to lead their clans, and like you said, like pass the torch to characters like Ariok, you know, like that.
Yeah. I definitely would push hard on that. Definitely like bring back some familiar characters too, though. Like in terms of like who would want the Dragon Maw led by, easily Koak should lead the Dragon Maw straight up, because he's got good values. He learned a lot from his experiences in Pandaria. But yeah, I would definitely have it be Koak who leads the Dragon Maw now. You'd have, and this is where the Maghar come in. I definitely think that the Maghar should play a role, but they should not eat up the Orc Heritage armor as like their appearances goes. So you definitely have Gyara, the leader of the Maghar from the Alternate Realm, show up, and then you'd have Joran Deadeye would be representing both the Maghar of Outland and the is it Bleeding Hollow? I think it's Bleeding Hollow.
It is.
I am such a bad orc fan right now, guys. This is what happens when I'm not doing scripts. I would stumble on shit. But he would represent them, I think. But like, I think during that's the characters I would want. Just like big named characters, both old and new, representing their clans. You could even have like a new character lead the Shattered Hand, or you could have the that one rogue trainer in the Cleft of Shadows or something. But that's what I would do. I would have those characters show up during the Kosharg Festival. So it'd be basically the Kosharg Festival. You'd have the orcs celebrating there. It doesn't need to be grim. I don't know if you need to have like a villain be there. You could. I feel like it would kind of be interesting to have like an orc, kind of like Gul'dan, like one of Gul'dan's disciples show up to kind of ruin the party or something, or like you have some form of loose end. I can't really think of any loose ends for the orcs though that you deal with other than maybe the Burning Blade, like the fell corruption or something of some kind. I'm trying to think of like what you could do as far as antagonistic goes, but like the main purpose in my eye would be, one, it would be about reinstating the clans that Thrall dissolved, and it would be about establishing Thrall as the leader of the orcs, as Lord of the Clan.
Ooh.
And it would be Thrall kind of like admitting to his struggles with that, but admitting to, yes, this is the role I need to do, and that someday someone else will take up this role, but right now I need to step up. I need to stop sobbering or being sad about it. No, I'm stepping up. It's what Sarfang wanted. It's what I want. And I guess it'd be a lot about like talking about both the past, future, and the present with the orcs. And that way you kind of learn about some of the legends of the clan. Like you'd probably like go around and ask each chieftain like what happened to them, who used to lead them, etc. You'd learn about Ogrim Doomhammer. You'd learn about Sarfang. You'd learn about so much. That's what I would do. It would be about the history of the orcs and learning about them. Maybe you even interact with their spirits. I'd love that. Get to interact with Sarfang's. Talk with Sarfang's spirit. Talk with. I mean, it probably can't interact with Ner'zhul anymore, but it would be kind of nice to have Ner'zhul kind of like admit, yeah, I failed my people. I guess you could have his wife take his place and talk about him. But that's what I would do as far as the story goes. It doesn't need to be really that big or grand, as long as like it's... I mean, I also wouldn't mind it taking place on Outland too, if they wanted to move it there. But I would kind of prefer them kind of making their cultures on Azeroth from now on, to kind of show that the times are changing and Draenor just isn't their home anymore.
I like the times change.
Oh, I didn't even do that deliberately, but like, oh, you know what would be kind of cool is like as a plot point, You know how, like, you and I love talking about how, what if Garrosh and Zayla had a kid? What if that kid shows up? The kid shows up, and that kid is, like, now an adult because they grew up on Draenor, and they secretly, like, arrived or something with Gyra and her crew, and that little snot's causing trouble, and instead of, like, Thrall outright killing him, like he kind of wants to, maybe it starts out that way, but Thrall's like, no, I'm adopting this kid. I'm raising him as my own. And
Steve,
that becomes like...
I would love that.
And, like, that becomes the plot point, though. It's like Thrall has... And, like, I guess, like, that would be really heavy to do in a Heritage Armor questline. They normally don't do that kind of stuff. But you gotta admit that would be really cool to do. Like, and that could be complicated, too, because that's the son and heir of Garrosh and Zayla, which means that's a kid of 2 clans. And he could be fighting for both of those leaderships.
Oh my god, a Dragon Maw and Warsong orc put together? That's actually sick. I just thought about that.
I love the idea of Zayla and Garrosh's secret kid. I've always liked it. And there's like this one thing in Stormwind, I might pull it up for this video, where it talks about like an orc who wants to get vengeance and shit. And this took place, they added this in Legion, and I always thought this was really weird. Like, who is this orc? Who are they talking about? Like, it's just this orc that's in Stormwind, and, like, I don't know who it's supposed to be. I really don't, but, like, they're talking about they want to avenge their parents and shit, and I've always liked the idea of that being, like, Garrosh's kid from, like, the future or something. I don't know how that would work, but yeah, that's, again, like, I already did a video on this Heritage Armor stuff. I don't know what else to really say, other than... I want a wolf pelt. I want it to be good. I don't want grunt armor. And I want the plot to be focused on the orcs' future. I'd love a Kosh'harg festival. If we don't get that, just focus on Thrall. I was gonna say this earlier. I didn't get to say it too much, but like I think it'd be a real. If it's not focused on all of the clans and it's just focused on Thrall and the Frostwolves and all that stuff, I'd say focus on Drek'thar's death. I think that would be a very good time to do this after the time skip. Drek'thar is super old, and have Drek'thar be like, Thrall, I'm dying. The Frostwolves, their future, it's up to you now. You need to step up. You know, like, make it emotional, make it sad, make me cry, and have Drek'thar die of old age, and just have him pass on with Thrall there for his mentor. And all of the orcs could be present there, because Drek'thar matters a lot. Drek'thar taught Thrall how to be a shaman, and have that guy go out with a bang. Have every orc there if you want. That's the way I would handle it if we're not doing Kosh'harg Festival. You could do it both there, to be honest with you. That could be the conflict, too. But that's what I would do.
So awesome. I would love that.
And you know what? Just give Doomhammer back during that too. Just give it back already. I'm tired of this back and forth of people complaining that the Doomhammer's theirs now. It ain't yours. You're getting that taken from you. I am gonna be like the Grinch who stole Christmas, and I'm gonna show up and steal everyone's artifact weapon from their banks, and I'm giving it back to NPCs.
So you heard it here first, folks. Ban's gonna be photoshopping Ban's face onto the Jim Carrey Grinch. With Doomhammer in his head.
Alright, now I need to do that. Thanks for that. But yeah, that's what I want the Orc Heritage Armor to focus on and be in terms of armor and story. Yeah, that's what I would do. I'm probably not gonna go too ham on the visuals here, guys, but that's what I would want. I guess thanks for watching. Check out Box. He does all sorts of stuff. He does machinimas. He does WoW content stuff. Obviously, check out my stuff too if you're new here or you're old here. Just look at our stuff in general. We do a lot. Me and Box collaborate on a lot of stuff. We're doing a lot of videos right now. And I hope to see you guys for those. But yeah, let's hope the Heritage Armor's good. I'm excited for it, but I'm also dreading it because I swear to God, if the story's bad and doesn't focus on Thrall, and it if it focuses on, if it gives us grunt armor again, I'm gonna scream.
Fair,
But
fair.
see ya.
Bye.